The Rebel Allocator by Jacob Taylor. This was an enjoyable book that was easy to read. Compared to most investment books, it has a storyline that makes it easy to follow. I found it bridges the gap between being a shareholder and running a business. Let's have a look at some of the key points I got out of the book. To start off, not all CEOs know how to spend capital correctly. Quite often when someone first becomes a CEO in a company, they may not come from a background in capital allocation. In fact, they may come from another area of expertise, such as marketing or production. The role of CEO is totally different. Good use of capital is not something that's taught in schools, but is learnt from years of experience. The main character of the book, Nick, is a young person starting out in business. Struggling to make a living, by chance he meets a billionaire who eventually mentors him with the art of capital allocation. His journey consists of the lessons of a rebel allocator. His first takeaway is the iron law of economic survival. This outlines that a successful company needs costs to be lower than the price of goods sold to make a profit. And just as importantly, the price of goods have to be lower than the perceived value by the customer. Anything other than this is unsustainable. For example, if a customer doesn't think they are getting any value for what they spent, they may change to another product. But if they think they are receiving more value than the price that they paid, this will strengthen your customer base and brand name. This may be achieved through lowering costs without impacting customers or putting capital towards delighting your customers. So how is capital allocation done right? There are many ways a business can spend its capital, some more beneficial than others. These different strategies need to be measured and implemented to delight customers, or cut out if not required by customers. Return on invested capital is a way of measuring how successful a strategy may be. To improve return on capital, you either have to lower your costs to gain profit or increase customer value to attract more customers. For instance, if you spent capital on something that did not benefit your customers, this may show a low return on capital because customer numbers will fall. There are many ways to test different strategies. Starting small is one of the most cost-effective ways. Once a strategy has proven itself by giving an adequate return on capital, you can now concentrate on growth. Next point is to treat shareholders as your partners. Partners should be treated as people, not just funding. There are many clues that tell if a company is looking after its shareholders. To start with, some CEOs have no idea what their business is worth and buy back stock at high valuations. Someone who does this is just as likely to make overpriced acquisitions that rarely go as well as expected. Issue of stock below intrinsic value is another bad trait. They do not prepare for market cycles and take on a lot of debt. A modest balance sheet, buybacks at or below fair value, good cash stores, and no overpriced acquisitions are indicators of good management. Dividends are a last resort if there are no decent options for reinvestment. But remember that holding cash is still an option. It's a great shock absorber in bad times and allows you to take advantage of opportunities. Good allocation requires a model. All this information is useless if you don't have a plan on how you are going to use it. Towards the end of the book, Nick does a presentation outlining the importance of using a model to make decisions on capital allocation. A model will give you framework to follow, which provides consistency when making decisions. This reduces misjudgments caused by human emotions. It also eliminates shortcuts. This increases chances of making a good decision. Nick becomes a rebel allocator and gains a lifelong advantage in his business endeavours. This book was an enjoyable read, so do yourself a favour and pick up a copy. Thanks for watching.